How you all doing? I need a louder response, otherwise I'll just tell jokes this morning. How are you doing? Much better, much better. Thank you in advance for your time. Apologies for the giant size of my head. I think it actually is that large. I have 9 minutes, 50 seconds of stories to tell you, and I want to give you some takeaways, so I'm going to start from the very start. All my slides will be available if you can't capture anything, if you want to contact me at Dom Price. I consider myself one of the most fortunate people alive because I get to work in an amazing organization that changes every single day. I spent the last 6 years at Atlantean, and I hope to spend the next 60 there because every single day is different. But every single day is taxing because if we're honest, teamwork is bloody hard. It's the one thing we all have in common. The university project when we had to work in teams. Every audience I speak to is full of the people that pulled all the weight in the teamwork and no one else did any work. I don't know where those other people are. So we're going to talk about the complexities of teamwork today. When I think about the future of teamwork, the first thing I want to acknowledge is values. And that's because we're going through a very high rate of change. And change brings uncertainty, which is really uncomfortable. As a team and as the Atlassian team, we know the values of what we stand for. Things like don't fuck the customer. Not customer centricity or customer first, but put the customer at the front and center of every decision you make every day. If you delight that customer, you have a thriving business. These values live in Atlassian every single day. We hire for them. We recognize our teams for them. They are pervasive throughout the organization. Now, I could talk about all of them for about 45 minutes, but I don't have 45 minutes. I want to pick on two today. One that I think is probably one of the most important for me, open company, no bullshit. We are open by default with the way we share information and we share intent. And then play as a team. It's in there on purpose. We celebrate and have fun as a team, but we work as a team. As Ole mentioned, 90% of organizations are facing problems so complex, they have to be solved by teams. Cognitively diverse teams with friction and respectful dissent that come together. So what's your role in the future of teamwork? This is where many presentations either go utopian, we will all be working 4-hour working weeks and have lots of leisure time. Is anyone here working 4-hour working weeks? Good, I'm in the right audience then. The other theory is the dystopian theory. The clouds will be gray, the robots will run the world, and we will have nothing to live off anymore. And I kind of don't believe in either of those. So what I want to do today is give you action, give you practical things that you can take back to your organization. Now, there's 3 potential layers I could talk on. We're going to focus on 2. The first one will be you as a leader, you as an individual. And the second one is you as a member of a team. I'm doing a talk later in the future of work about you as a member of a company. So let's get stuck in. There are 2 things I'm going to give you. The first one starts with you. Can you raise your hand if your organization is working on any major transformation or change program right now? Okay. Can you keep your hand up if you yourself are changing? A very dishonest audience or very humble audience. Normally when I talk to leaders, they are driving change programs, but they believe they are fine. And here is why. As a society, we are suffering with knowledge obesity. We've got carried away with acquiring knowledge and not doing anything with it. I know I should eat spinach and that I should exercise every day, but I like pizza and sitting down. In our organizations, in our teams, we all have knowledge. We know what the right thing to do is, and we don't do it. It's a gap between what will make us survive and thrive. So I don't want to give you the theory, I want to give you something you can practice. It's the 4 L's. Loved, longed for, loathed, and learnt. I do this exercise every quarter for myself. I look back at the previous quarter. What did I love about my work, my leadership, my team, my development? What did I love? And you know why I use the word love? Because life is too bloody short. And if you don't love it, don't bother living it. So find the thing that you love and do more of it. You will enjoy life more. The second thing is an equation. Our engineers at Atlassian love this. You're not allowed to add in a longed for unless you take out a loathed, because we are full. We have no extra hours in the day, either cognitively or physically. So take out the thing that's not working to add in the new thing, the new experiment. And then the fourth L, what did I learn? I look back at the previous quarter, and whatever I learned, I go and share with my peers. I go and tell as many people who'll listen. And here's the secret. Most of the things I learned from the previous quarter are the things that went wrong. The great ideas that I had in my head that when I did them, they didn't work. Because sharing failures is as much of a lesson learned as sharing your successes. And here's why. It was alluded to before by the panel. You can get carried away with research about skills on increase, skills in demand, skills in decline. The thing is, this is knowledge acquisition, and it will make you lazy. So instead of knowing the top 10 skills that are on the increase or in the decline, find a way of evolving yourself so you can be the best leader for your teams every single day. So remember, dysfunction is the gap between what you know and what you apply. Find something to do. Second thing, once you're a good version of you, you can be a great member of your team. And I'm a firm believer that leadership is a team sport. Now, we're apparently in the middle of the fourth industrial revolution, and many people get carried away wondering what that revolution will be and forget to look back at the past industrial revolution. I graduated in the 90s and noughties in the UK and studied commerce, and I was taught about Maslow's hierarchy of needs and Frederick Winslow Taylor, the optimal size of a shovel. And I can tell you after 19 years in technology, I have never used a shovel once in my life. The management theories that children and people are still being taught were baked in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. They're not designed for the world that we're in today about creativity and adaptability and nimbleness. Our teams, our organizations need to focus on effectiveness as well as efficiency. Not just doing things fast and being efficient, but doing the right things and staying relevant. 6 years ago, when Atlassian was small and nimble just because we were small, I was set the challenge of how do we continually scale and stay an awesome place to work. We never wanted to be famous for being big, but famous for being great. And so we took upon ourselves to define a way of working, to understand if you hire smart people, how can you give the freedom to do the best work of their life? Versus most organizations who hire smart people and then say to them in the first 90 days, I'm sorry, that's not the way things are done around here. We wanted to bring their wisdom and knowledge to add to our values and culture, not to mimic us. So we decided to look at what makes great teams. No surprise, I work for a technology organization. Most people say tools. Technology is brilliant, but a fool with a tool is still a fool. You've just made them faster. So be very careful who you give technology to. The next thing is the right people, the growth mindset, the ability to challenge the status quo, have that respectful dissent, to grow and develop and learn. And the last thing for us, which was lagging, was practices, the way we work human to human. And so we designed something over time called the Atlassian Team Playbook. How our teams work and navigate as individuals, as teams working themselves, and then team of teams working together. And over a number of years, we landed on two aspects. One is a mirror that builds self-awareness. We call them health monitors. What makes a healthy team, and how as a team do you assess your own health? Because you are accountable for driving your teams as a leader. And then plays. What are the exercises you can do when you identify an area where you struggle so you can improve? A few years ago, we had the 3 health monitors and 31 plays. Mike, one of our co-founders at Atlassian, said to me, Dom, instead of doing a talk called The Secret Sauce, why not just call it The Source? And so instead of keeping this within the walls of Atlassian, we now share this globally with everyone in the world. Every one of you gets access to this. The URL, Atlassian Team Playbook, will take you to the pot of gold. Whether you be French-speaking, Italian, German, English, Japanese, we have translated it into many languages. Because our mission is to unleash the potential in every team, and we want you to have a head start in doing that. If you're an Atlassian customer, you also get all the templates that over 400 teams across Atlassian globally use every single day. When we issued this a few years ago, we retired our internal version. Because if it's good enough for you, it's good enough for us. So in summary, I've given you some actions, but here's the challenge for you. Today, you run the risk of just acquiring knowledge, and I have a plea for you. As you go through today, instead of seamlessly acquiring knowledge, make the decision, instead of being a bystander, to be a participant. Find the thing that you can do on Monday when you get back to your teams so that we can all unleash our team's potential. Thank you very much.